Hi, welcome back to Guide to Solidworks. Today we are going to be going through a tutorial that's a beginner's guide to the three main aspects of Solidworks. I'm going to take you through one tutorial that will run through modeling a part, creating an assembly, and creating a drawing. So our three main areas of Solidworks. So if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you are a returning viewer, please hit that thumbs up button and leave any comments below for how you feel the tutorial went, and if you've tried it yourself, how you got on. Okay, so let's dive into here. Now what I am going to be using is one of the SolidWorks tutorials itself, so if you want to access the tutorials, they are in the SolidWorks tutorials, and I'm going to be running through them a little bit quicker than they do in there, so you can see a reasonable pace and how we can get through all three sections. So first of all, I'm going to go into a parts model. So I'm going to open up a parts model, and I'm going to create two different parts. So my first part will be here, and I'm going to go to sketch. So I'm going to go to front plane, sketch, and sketch on that front plane. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to get a corner rectangle, starting from my origin. I'm going to drag that out. So that's created my profile. I'm now just going to put some sizes to that, and it's going to be 120 by 120, giving me a square. Okay, now I want to turn this into a cube, so I'm just going to extrude that out. So I'm going to go to features here and extrude. And I'm going to bring this 30 out. So just changing my value to 30 in the side there and bring that out by 30. Okay, now on the front of here, if I click on there, I'm going to go to sketch, and I'm going to drop a circle on the front face here, like so. Now, so that I can see exactly where I'm sketching that, if we hit the spacebar, it brings up our view window. It's either going to bring this up, or it's going to bring up our rotation tabs here. If we're not getting our viewfinder up around it, just click on there, and it'll let you use the view selector. So I'm going to select that front window, which will give us a straight on view, and then I'm going to put some sizes to this. So my circle there is going to be 70, and it's going to be positioned exactly in the center. So that's going to be 60 that way, and 60 that way. Positioning my circle in the center there. So if I now go to features and extrude, I need to bring that out 15mm. So rather than 30, I'm just going to 15 there, and I'm going to extrude that out. So you can see now that's been pulled out 15mm. Sorry, I'm going to go 25, not 15. Let's quickly edit that. So just right clicking on our feature there, we can edit, and we want that to be 25mm. Okay, so once we've got that in place, I'm going to create a hole through the center of here. So I'm going to click on that front face again. I'm going to sketch. I'm going to click this outside edge here, and I'm going to go to offset. And I want it in one direction, so I'll get rid of that bi-direction there. Offset by 10, and I want to offset on the inside, so I'm going to select on the inside. So I can either click on the inside of the line, on the inside of the shape, and the arrow will come in, or I can click reverse direction. So that's what happens there. Now I've got that circle in place, I'm going to go to features, I'm going to go to cut, and I'm just going to change that to through all. Again, my end condition there, to through all. And tick. Okay, so that excuse me. So that gives me my general shape. Now what I want to do is add some fillets in here to round this off. So first of all, I'm going to fillet this front face, and I'm going to fillet that to 0.5, sorry, 1.5. So if I just click there, that'll fillet off them two edges on that front face, like so. My next fillet is going to be my 4 corners, and that is going to be 10. So just selecting them 4 corners like so, tick, and that gives me that 10mm fillet on each of them ends. And my final one is a 5mm fillet. So I'm just going to the fillet tool again. So fillet tool again, and I'm just going to change this to 5 now. And I'm going to click that front face, and you'll see how it takes the fillet around the outside edge and around the bottom of this circle here. And we've got that component now. Our final stage now is just to shell the inside of that. So I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to the shell tool here, click on the back, and I'm going to set my shell at 2mm. Like so. Okay, so that's the first part models. I'm just going to add an appearance to this. So I'm just going to right click on there, appearance. Let's go body. Give it a second to load up. And I'm just going to add a colour appearance there. I'm just going to add red in there as my appearance for the colour. And tick. Okay, so that's my first part complete. I'm now going to create my second part. So file, new. Okay. Okay, so the second part I'm going to complete is effectively the back of this. So it's going to be 2-part assembly. So I'm going to front plane again, sketch on that front plane. I'm going to create another box, and I'm just going to do the same size. So it's 120 by 120. Now these two components are going to fit together nicely. When we make them, they're going to be stuck together perfectly, so we need to get sure that the sizes are perfect. So I'm going to bring this forward by 90. And I'm going to tick there just to bring that shape out, so we've got that extrusion, like so. Now I'm just going to apply a fillet onto these edges, and I want it to be a 10mm fillet. So there, and there, like so. There we go. So we've got all 4 edges filleted with a 10mm fillet. Now we've got that in place. We now need to shell the inside here. So I'm just going to click there, and I'm going to shell that. But this time, rather than shelling it to 2, I'm going to shell it to 4. Okay, tick there. And we get that box shape there. Now, with the last part of this, I'm going to zoom in. Now, the reason I've doubled the thickness on this is because I need to be able to have these two components fit into each other. So I'm going to click on this face, edit that face there, sketch on that face, and I'm going to click that outer edge, and I'm going to convert entity. Now what I want to do is convert the entities on all of these outside faces, all these outside edges, should I say. And click the convert entities button there, and we've got that like so. Now with them lines that I've created, I'm now going to offset them, and I'm going to make sure I'm selecting by chain, which means it links all the lines connected together. I'm going to offset by 2 on the inside, like so. You can see now I've got that space, that gap there that I've offset there. So I'm going to features, I'm going to cut, and I'm going to bring that back 20 mil. So it's just giving me that recess that the other component will fit into. So if I right click on the body there, appearance, change the appearance of the body, I'm going to turn that to a nice blue colour there, like so. Either of them will do, that's fine, perfect. So we've got that blue colour there, just to separate between the 2 components. Okay. Now we've got our 2 components together, what we can now do is create an assembly. Okay, so to create an assembly, what I need to do is go to File, New, and I'm going to go to Assembly here. Click on there, and OK. Now this will open up a new area here where I can assemble the products together. So you can see here I've got part 1 and part 2. So let's bring one of them in. Let's bring part 1 in. Click on the part at the side here and drop in there. Okay, now you can see that when I opened that up, then parts came up because they were open as a part on Solidworks and had been saved. Now, if I hadn't already opened them, if I hadn't already had them open and saved, what I would need to do, I'll show you when I come back in here. So now I've got one in, I need to get the second one in. So I come to Assembly tab, Insert Component, and I've got my 2 components there. If they aren't there, I can hit the Browse button there, and that will let me browse through all my files and open any saved components. But because I've got them open, they'll come up here automatically, and I can drop that in there, like so. Okay, so just let's move that around a little bit. So we've got our front component here, and we've got our back component there. We're going to mate these together. So hit Mate tool, and then now I'm going to select the bits that I want connected. So I'm going to start off with these top edges here and here. And what that will do is just line them edges up. So if I show you now, they are lined up, but they will move through each other, and they will also rotate or tilt around that point. Now, what I can also then do is select another point for them to mate to. So every time I click the green tick, that saves that mate and clears the mate selection box. So now I can create another selection. So I'm going to line up these 2 outside faces here. And what that's done is it's made them coincident, so they're in line with each other. And tick there. So now I can only rotate around, I can't slide across. I can rotate around my axes at the top here. Now to fix this in place completely, I'm going to create a third mate, which is going to be this bottom line here against this bottom line here. Them 2 edges together. And tick that. And we now have our component fully mated, like so. Okay, so that's how we complete a assembly process, just mating up 2 components. That's a really simple mating process between 2 components. Now what we're going to do is we are going to move on from this component to look at how we can actually create a drawing from these components. So first of all, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to go to Drawing. So I'm now on my 3rd stage. So OK that. Now this is where it will bring me up an option of how I want my drawing to look. For the sake of this, I'm just going to click A3, and OK there. So my view palette at the side of the page here, like so, and I'm going to open up my part 1 in my palette over here. So give that a second, it's just going to load up part 1, and it'll give me the different views of the part 1 in here. So if I'm going to say that's my front view, I'm going to grab that, drop that in there. Now the software will automatically change that to a line drawing. Okay, I can then, once I've dropped the front one in, I can then move it sideways and drop the second one in. Move it up, drop the top one in. So I've got my 3 views there. Now effectively, really, they are the same 3 views because of the shape of the component. However, what I can do now is you'll notice there is no hidden detail on these. So if I click on the front view or any of the views, come down into my drawing selection at the side, I've got my different drawing styles or my display styles. If I want one with hidden lines visible, click on that second one, and you can now see all the hidden detail is now visible on there, like so. Now I've dropped that component in there. I am also going to come back up to here, part 2, and drop part 2 in there as well. So I'm going to use that as my front view, drag and drop that in, and put these in place here. Okay, now I'm showing you the 3 because that's your traditional process for creating an orthographic drawing, is having the 3 views. In this case, with this model, I probably wouldn't really use 3 views because they are the top and the right or the side view are exactly the same. Again, I'm going to click on that front view, and I'm just going to change the display to the visible hidden detail, like so, and you can see it on there like so. Okay, so now I've got these 6 views in place. What I'm going to do is put the isometric view in as well for each. So for this first one here, I'm going to click on this front view plane here. I'm going to come up to my view layout tab at the top, and I'm going to go to projected view. Click on that, and that will allow me to add in another projected view of this component. I'm just going to add that isometric view in up there like so. And take and lay that in there. Now with this, I'm going to change the look, so it's now going to be a solid edged component like so. Take care. I'm going to do the same with this, so click on that selection, project view, and this projected view I'm going to drop in this top corner. You can see it's starting to get a little bit tight on the page. We can maneuver these around to give ourselves a little bit more space. And you'll see now we've dropped that in there. Just going to change that to a solid edged drawing, shaded edge drawing. Okay, so let's make a bit more space. I'm going to move that across. Like so. And we've got that little bit of extra space now in here for our dimensioning process. Okay, so once we've got our layout of our 3 views, our 4 views for each component, we can now start to annotate these using the dimension tool. So click on the annotation tab, and then go to Smart Dimensions tool. I can now dimension this up. So I'm going to dimension from edge to edge. Across there. I am then also going to dimension across that outside diameter, and also the inside diameter, like so, on there. Now with this, it gives me the option to here on this model to dimension up the full distance across, or up that height there. which is again 120, so we've got them two distance or dimensions on there. So we've got that centre point of that circle like so, coming down across the side, and then we can also work it coming from the top here, coming across there as well, to give us our position for where the centre of them two circles are going to go. Now I'm going to come up to this top view here, and I am going to place into this view the step sizes in here. So I'm going to go from there to there, showing that that's going to be 55, and then from there to there. From the outside edge to there, showing that that is going to be 30. Now, all we're left with on this drawing now is just to show our shell thickness, and our shell thickness is very simple. All we need to do is show the thickness of the outside wall there. So I'm going to click on that and that, and show that that offset there is 2 mil, like so. So as you can see there, that drawing is now fully defined. All the information that we need is there to be able to create that model. Now, what you then do is go through the second one, fully defining that as well, and putting all of your dimensions onto that second model as well. Okay. I'm going to leave you to have a go at doing that one, rather than you sitting there watching me repeat myself doing that one. It's very similar dimensions, going through exactly the same process. So, hope you've enjoyed this beginner's guide tutorial, taking you through all 3 steps of using the Solidworks software, and hopefully you've learned something new there. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you're a returning viewer, please leave a comment, hit that big thumbs up, or hit that bell icon so that you can get the latest content as it comes out. And at this point then, I will say I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next tutorial. So bye for now.